All right. Are we good to go? Why is everybody frozen?
Oh,
Is everybody there? Are we good? Okay,
Yeah.
we're good. All right. I don't know what happened when I hit record, you guys. Okay, we are recording. All right, let's get this show on the road. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Angie Harper. I was going to say an Elite Pro 8, but now I am an executive consultant 2 with this beautiful company, LifeVantage. And I know many of you out there are probably thinking, why aren't we talking about the new enhanced compensation plan? And I purposefully wanted to schedule Bob for a call because I really feel like we all need time to just absorb the information, right? There's so many awesome trainings out there that you can plug into and take time to really learn on your own. And we're going to meet. I know our team, Global Legacy, will meet next week. And we will get everybody's questions answered. And don't forget, there will be an Evolve show, hopefully somewhere near you, that you can tune into as well. So let's get to our special guest. When I asked for a bio to introduce him, he was like, oh, I don't need anything fancy, you know, but not at all into me edifying the success that he has had, which I really do appreciate. I feel like I know him though, you guys. I was actually introduced to him from one of my consultants, a brand new consultant, Dara, who found him and started speaking pretty highly of him. So I checked him out on Instagram. I started listening to his podcast a couple of months ago, and I went all the way back to day one, which was October of 2015. And Bob, he works out with me every day. He walks with me. He cooks with me. I'm like kind of borderline obsessed with the way he communicates and the way he teaches, because really it's unlike a lot of what we're bombarded with out there. He's not, you know, like the fast talking car salesman, not cheesy. I totally, and I know many of you out there do because I've talked about him a lot. You resonate with what, you know, what he says and how he works his business. And he is the creator of a program called Love, Serve, Grow. The podcast I was talking about is called Your Virtual Upline. Make sure you guys download that and start listening to it. Bob is an entrepreneur. He's a husband. He's a father. And I looked at his website and it says he's just a regular guy devoted to helping you make the world a better place by putting love and giving, right? Is he talking to the right team right now? Love and giving at the center of growing your business. I also love that he failed for many years. He'll probably talk about that with multiple businesses. He was introduced to network marketing from a UPS guy at the mall, which I thought was hilarious. And I'm going to end with this, and then we're going to bring him on. He helps burnt out network marketers create hustle-free success and build life-first businesses. If that's something you're interested in, do me a favor and drop a 1 in our chat. And let's welcome Mr. Bob Heilig to our call. Hi, Bob.
Awesome. Thanks, Angie. I appreciate the introduction, and I'm excited to be here tonight. So I'm curious here. Are any of us meeting virtually for the first time tonight? I just like to kind of get a sense of who I'm talking to. It's actually been a long time since I've done a training for LifeVantage. So I'm really excited to be here with all of you. I'm very familiar with your company and what you do. I think what you all have accomplished has been really amazing. And I understand that it is a very exciting time for all of you. There's some changes happening. And, I know that's always something that we get fired up about, to be able to go share some new and exciting things with people. But it looks like we've got lots of first timers. So awesome. So I'll give you the super abridged version of my introduction. As Angie said, I am the founder of a company that we call Your Virtual Upline. And for the last 6 years, been providing coaching and training, specifically for network marketers. And we teach a unique philosophy that some of the things I'm going to be sharing tonight they're not anything new for you to hear, but we call it Love, Serve, Grow. And we believe that we teach people how to build a values first business. And we teach people that you shouldn't have to sacrifice the things that are most important to you in life in order for you to reach the top rank in your company. And it doesn't mean that there isn't sacrifices that we need to make along the way, but we teach people how to build what we call a life first business. And we believe that living a life that you love and creating success in business should not be two things that have to be in opposition of one another. And so tonight I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit, one of the key conversations that I've been having a lot lately with people, because I think it's a really important one, but it's also important for me to just say this up front, because you know, I want to just kind of disarm everybody up front here. And I want to say this: I do not have anything to sell you tonight. I don't have anything to promote to you. My goal is very simple. In the next 30 minutes that we have, I want to give you more free value to help you in your business than 99% of the coaches you've hired and courses and memberships you bought. That's my thing. I feel called to do what I do. This is a mission for me. This is something more than just a way for me to make money. I love this profession. It has changed my life. And I know there are a lot of incredible people that are on this Zoom right now that have all the potential in the world, but you're feeling really stuck and frustrated. And my goal tonight is I want to give you something that when we're done here, that can help you break through that. If there is one thing actually, I'm lying. There is one important sale that I want to make tonight. I want to sell you on you. I want you leaving this training tonight with a new level of confidence and belief that you can actually make this thing called LifeVantage work for you. And I know that there's a lot of people here that have probably had some success selling your products, because let's be real, the products are awesome. They're not that hard to sell if you have enough conversations. But I also know that most of the people that come to us, our clients, they come to us because that success that they experience when it comes to selling products, it hasn't really necessarily crossed over in the area of leadership and building a team. And what I want to give you tonight is I want to give you some training that can help you learn how to create more value for your customers and the people that you talk to for potentially starting a business with LifeVantage and joining your team. Here's why I think this is important. Because I believe that 2023 is going to present each and every one of you with the single greatest opportunity that you have ever had to build your team since you've been doing this. Now, this is a message that's going to come in very much in opposition of what we see and hear in the world today. Because all we have to do is look at the news, and all we see and hear is doom and gloom. We hear recession. We hear prices increasing, inflation, people losing jobs. I mean, every single day I go on CNBC, another major Fortune 500 company is laying off thousands of people. And so it would be really easy for us to have a little bit of fear going into 2023. And that's the thing. I get to, in our business, I get to talk to lots of leaders, and I'm hearing that from everybody. There's a lot of uncertainty and fear. What I want you to recognize is that everything that's happening in the world right now today is usually a very good thing for our profession, because when there's a lot of uncertainty, and when there's a lot of economic uncertainty and people are losing jobs, and they're more open to doing something like LifeVantage. There are people that, you know, dream recruits of yours that for the first time ever will be open to hearing what you have to say. But here's the key. You have to learn how to start talking to them differently. See, tonight I want to teach you what it really means to create value in a sales conversation. And when I say sales conversation, I mean not just your products, I mean your business, right? When we're sharing our business, we're selling an opportunity to people. And what I find is that the reason why a lot of people struggle when it comes to building their team is they just don't know the right things to say when it comes to having a sales conversation around their business. They're not really clear on the things that people are looking for and how we can position our business as a vehicle to help them get more of what they want. One of the most important things that we teach in Love, Serve, Grow is that you are actually not in the business that you think you're in. You're not in the health and wellness business. You're not in the business of helping people start side incomes or side hustles or make a little bit of extra money. You are in the transformation business. And the transformation that you have to deliver is different than what most people think. You help deliver personal transformations for people. See, most people, when they get into a business conversation, they just focus on talking about the wrong things. We're taught to talk about our compensation plan. We're taught to talk about the company, all the amazing things. Most of our conversations are very product focused. Now, here's the problem with being product focused. It is the lowest level of value creation. So when we talk about our business, what does that mean? Well, being product focused means that and this is a very relevant conversation for all of you, because you got a new comp plan. So the natural tendency for you is, I'm going to just want to go talk to everybody that I've ever talked to before, and I got to just tell them about the new comp plan, because they're going to get excited, right? Because this new comp plan, it's good, and people are going to. This is not what get people excited, by the way. See, one of the most important things that I learned is this: people don't buy products and they don't start businesses. They buy solutions to problems. Somebody that's going to join your team, they're going to join your team because they believe in some way that LifeVantage can help improve their life in a way that's very meaningful to them. And the problem that we have is, if we're just focusing on product information, if we lead with the comp plan, the company, the product, all that stuff, here's what it does. It triggers sales resistance. Because when I look at what people are doing today, the way they're selling, social media is a good thing and a bad thing for our business. It's a great thing if you use it in a way that is effective, but it can be a really bad thing, because every single person that ever has done anything like this, they're all trying to sell on social media. They're in your prospects' DMs, they're in their feeds. We are inundated with thousands of different types of sales messages. And here's how almost every single person sells. They're completely product focused. And when we're product focused, here's what we say: my thing's the best. We got the best comp plan. We got the best products. We got the best science. We got the best ownership. We got the best company. Everybody's like, their thing is the best. Now, when that's what you lead with, when that's all you're bringing to a sales conversation, what that does is it immediately triggers people's resistance, because you are like every other person that they've ever talked to that's trying to sell them something. Now, what's interesting is this: even if you do believe your thing is the best, you have to learn how to give them that information in a way that they're going to be more accepting of it. See, when we trigger sales resistance up front, that's where people shut down right away. That's why people don't respond to you in conversations. That's why we get ghosted. And that's why we have trouble following up, because there isn't a lot of value. Think of it like this: what real value is there? Focusing everything that you say to people, giving them all the information that they can get themselves in a 30-second search on Google. What information is that really bringing to the process? Now, it doesn't mean that there isn't a place for you to share those details, but we got to do something first. Here's the biggest thing we need to do. You need to be less product focused and more problem focused. The way that you build real value in a sales conversation is taking the time to connect with people around problems, to let them know that you understand where they are in their life. We don't create value by talking and telling. We create value by listening and learning. I'll share a quick story with you that was one of the most defining moments in my entrepreneurial career. My entire first year in network marketing, I did not recruit a single solitary person. Now, that was not for a lack of effort. Okay. I talked to everybody that I know, and I always got the same song and dance from every person. Not for me, not a salesperson, not interested, can't do it, don't have the time. It was like on record, on repeat. I was in medical sales at the time, and I met a guy in a doctor's office. And we struck up a conversation waiting in the waiting room, and we connected immediately around this really important experience that we both went through. That year, individually, the companies that we worked for laid off 50% of their sales force overnight. Now, each of us survived and kept our jobs, but for me, that experience led me to look for something else. And it's the reason why I joined my network marketing company. Now, here I am talking to this guy, and I'm looking at him like he is me 6 months ago. So I became really excited to try to get to know this guy, to see how much like me he was. So I call him up. We set up a time to grab coffee. We go meet at a Starbucks. I live right now, I live outside of Philadelphia, but I was in Philadelphia at the time. We meet at a Starbucks. And I remember going into this meeting, I said, I'm going to try something different, because clearly what I'm doing is not working for me. And I said, I'm going to leave the presentation materials in the car. I'm not going to bring the samples. I'm going to just sit down with this guy. And I've got like genuine questions that I want to ask him to get to know him. We sat down in a Starbucks and we talked for an hour. I didn't mention what I did one time. Matter of fact, I talked maybe about 15% of the time. I listened to him. I related. We connected. It felt amazing. Towards the end of the hour, he stops me mid-sentence. And this is what he says to me. He says, all right, I'm in. And I'm like totally startled. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm in. Sign me up. Now I start laughing just like this because I'm like, this is not happening. Okay. I go, I said, do you even want to know what it is? And his answer to me changed my life forever when it came to selling. He said it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Didn't matter? He said it didn't matter because I believe you can help me. And if you're doing it, I'm going to do it too. He gave me his credit card, $500. Now, listen, my network marketing screwed my brain up so bad. I literally was like, listen, dude, I can't sign you up unless I at least tell you the name of the company, because I feel like I'm doing something unethical here and I could get my distributorship terminated here. Right. But it was so hard for me to not, because I was so conditioned. This is how we create value. My mentor said, Bob, you want to hit the top of the company, you're going to be a great presenter. So I learned every fact and figure that I knew. I spouted at people. And listen, let's be real for a sec here, okay? Because I know your company. I know your products. I know how passionate you are about the science and all these things, right? Oxidative stress and this and that, biohacking. Like I know, look, trust me, I've been a customer. I know some reps, all right? And I know how easy it is to take every piece of information that you've ever gathered since you've been in LifeVantage and just completely vomit it all over people. And listen, you do it because you want to help. But what you forget is you didn't know a single morsel of that information when you said yes. None of that stuff actually made you say yes. You want to know what made you say yes? If you joined the business, it was probably the relationship of the person that introduced you to it. Or you started taking the products and you're like, I don't know what's in this stuff, but I feel good. And I'm going to start sharing this with people, right? So many people have product information in this industry. So little people have customer information, actually understanding what motivates people to buy. So what I learned in that meeting was this: real value in a conversation doesn't actually come from your products, and it doesn't come from your company. It comes from you. See, as long as you think the value comes from your products or your comp plan, you will never stand out from the competition. You will always look like and sound like everybody else in the eyes of the people that you know. See, you are the biggest advantage that you have. You must learn how to start bringing more of you into a conversation, and you must learn how to start focusing on different things. Now, here was the big realization that I came to and why I understood that I connected with this person. And I'm going to share with you right now the start of this process, because people hear me teach this and they're like, all right, this sounds great, Bob. But number one, I don't know the problems to help solve. Like, what problems am I solving? And number two, I had a client say this to me just the other day. She goes, my biggest problem is I just don't know where to find my ideal prospect. Right? How many times have you said that? I just can't find that person. Well, I had a client ask me that the other day. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told her. I said, you want to find them? I said, get up, go to the bathroom, and look in the mirror. And there they are. You are your ideal prospect. Now, not the version of you today, the version of you right before you started your journey with LifeVantage. See, there is no one else in the world that is better qualified to help the version of you right before you started than you. And I'll tell you another quick story. Another coaching client of ours, her name was Lisa. We're on a Zoom just like this, and she comes on and we're doing a little coaching. And she says, Bob, here's my problem. I feel so defeated in my business. She said defeated like 2 or 3 times in the first 10 seconds. And I said, Lisa, why do you feel defeated? She goes, because I've been in my business for a year. And she said, I haven't recruited a single person that's ever done anything. And she's like, I'm at the point where I'm not even talking about my business anymore because I'm like, what's the use? And I said, I get it. I've been there. I said, Lisa, let me ask you a question. Forget about the results for a second, as hard as that is, I know, for us to do. I said, talk to me about you for a moment. She said, what do you mean? I go, you. I said, are you the same person today that you were a year ago? And here was this person that was so down. I'm so defeated. I'm so defeated. Like this, her whole body language changes. And she goes, oh my God. I'm like, and she's like, not even close. And she rattled off like 5 or 6 things. You know, I'm in better health. I have more energy. I'm more positive. I'm more confident. Like, I'm a better wife. And then the last thing she said really intrigued me. She goes, and I'm a better mom. And I said, ooh, tell me about that one. I said, Lisa, take me back to that moment right before you joined you said, I'm going to do this. I said, help me understand. What was missing in your life? What was the problem that you were dealing with that led you to want to do something like this? So she started to tell me this story. It was such a powerful story. I'm a father. I have 2 young boys. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So this really it really hit home with me. She said, well, she explained to me, she goes, you know, I had a career before I got married and I gave up my career to be a mom, 2 children. It was something I was willing to do. I love being a mom. But she said, my kids were getting older. They were like 7 and 8. And I was at a point in my life where I was really unhappy. I don't know any other way to say it. She said, I was unhappy because I felt like something was missing and my entire identity was just wrapped up in being a mom and I needed something else. And she said, I was telling myself that this was just something I was going through in private and that it wasn't affecting other parts of my life. And she said, and this happened. She said, one morning I was making the kids lunch. My 8-year-old daughter was sitting at the table. And in the middle of me getting ready for school, she goes, Mommy, what's wrong? And she's like startled. She's like, you know, nothing's wrong, sweetheart. Why do you ask? And she said, because your face looks really sad. And she shared with me, she said, that was the moment. She didn't know it was going to be what she did, but she said, that was the moment I decided to do something about it. And I was like, Lisa, what a story. I said, well, help me understand. How are you a better mom today? And she said, well, I'm setting a better example for my daughter. I'm showing her that it's possible to grow, that it's possible to chase your goals, to have dreams. And I'm like, what is that worth to you? She's like, everything. And I said, how does that make you feel? She said, proud. And then I asked her a very important question. I said, Lisa, how often do you feel proud when you're sharing your business with people? She said, never. I said, that's your problem. I said, your problem is you're focusing on the wrong things. And your problem is you don't really understand the gift that you have to offer someone else. See, in the world we live in today, we're so conditioned to believe that success is achievement, that we are successful when we hit the top rank, that we are successful when we get the check, that we are successful when we have the team, when we have the followers. As long as your definition of success is tied to some sort of achievement or result, that is a formula that will fail you 10 out of 10 times. Because think about it. You're confident when it comes to your products because you've got some results, but you're not confident when it comes to growing your team because you don't have the results. So you constantly feel less than, you constantly feel like you're not credible. You don't believe in what you're offering people because you don't believe in yourself. Because you've attached yourself to the failures of other people. Listen, you are not responsible for other people's success. They are. You are not, your job is not to transform their lives. It's their job. Your job is to be the guide. Your job is to introduce them to the vehicle. Whether they do the work is up to them. But here's what we have to do. We have to find a source of confidence that's tied to something different. What I asked Lisa, I said, Lisa, let me ask you this question. If you came across another woman just like you, do you think that you could offer her something that could help her, something that would be valuable to her? She said, yes. I said, you're sure? She goes, yes. I go, what could you offer her? She said, well, the first thing I could offer her is hope. Hope for a better future. That it is possible. I could help her be a better example to her daughter. I could help her grow. I could give her community and purpose, just like I have found the things that have helped me become the version of that I am myself. And I said, well, Lisa, here's what's interesting. You didn't mention rank. You didn't mention team. You didn't mention check. I said, this is the most important lesson that you will ever learn. Those things come as a byproduct of your ability to deliver what we're talking about now. LifeVantage is a personal growth program with a compensation plan. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now, here's the catch. The compensation part doesn't come in until you start really changing your definition of success. See, with Love, Serve, Grow, we teach people success is impact and growth. Success is progress. Success are small wins. Success are you showing up every single day with a heart to serve, focusing on not can I make a sale, but can I make a difference in someone else's life today? And when you start vibrating from that place, watch what happens. There's been a couple of recent studies done on consumer behavior, what people are looking for. The number one thing people are looking for in the work that they do today is purpose and meaning. Number two is flexibility. Wouldn't it be nice if you had something to offer them? See, but the thing is this, most people are not talking about this kind of stuff. So what I want you to understand is this. You have to learn how to first connect with people around their problems. We're taught to sell the dream. We're taught to talk about, look how your life, look at what it could become if you do this. And it feels inauthentic to us because we don't have the team. We don't have the dream, but we're told to sell the dream to them. And that's the reason why it always feels salesy and forced to us, because it is inauthentic. It is inauthentic for you to sell something to someone that you don't have. But here's the good news. You don't have to sell the dream because the dream ain't what most people are looking for anyway. You can't sell the dream to somebody that believes they're living in a nightmare. Connect with them first around problems. That's how you build trust. And then, and only then, do you have the ability to challenge them to start thinking bigger. I'll share one last story with you. Another client of ours, her name is Shannon. She comes to me, and this was a really odd thing for her to say to me because Shannon's been in her business for 15 years. She's a 7-figure earner in her company, one of the top earners. Incredible business, incredible career. It didn't start out that way, but that's where she is now. She comes to me on a coaching call. She goes, Bob, I can't recruit anybody. And I'm like, okay, this is a weird thing for her to say. I go, well, tell me more about it. She goes, every single person that I try to share my business with, I hear the exact same thing. I can't do what you do. And so I say to her, I go, well, what are you talking about? She goes, I just share my life. I talk about how this business has changed my life. I talk about how I can travel. I talk about how I don't have to worry about money anymore. Like I just share my story with people. And I go, Shannon, well, here's the problem. You're only sharing a part of your story with people and you're starting in the wrong order. I said, help me understand. I always take people, this is a really valuable exercise. Go back to that season of your life right before you said yes. What was the problem that you were struggling with? What was missing? And I asked Shannon this question, and she tells me this story that it all came down to a $56 check. She said she had just gone through a really nasty divorce. She was at like one of the lowest points of her life. She had 3 young children. She was trying to find work that would give her the flexibility to be able to be with her children, because that's her highest value, family. And she said, I was doing all these jobs, barely making ends meet. And everything I did, it was taking me further away from the thing that I love the most, which was being a mom. She said, I had a friend of mine that got me to join the business. And here's what it was like. What do you have to lose? She's like, just see what happens. She goes, I shared it with a couple of people. And she said, a couple of weeks later, I get an envelope. There's a check in the mail. I open it up. It's a $56 check. And she says to me, she says, Bob, that probably doesn't seem like a lot to you. And most people, if they heard that, they'd probably be like, who cares, 56 bucks. But she says, what you don't realize, and what most people wouldn't realize, is that $56 check changed my life. Because what it showed me was that it was possible. And it gave me just enough confidence and courage and hope to share it with someone else. And I'm listening to this 7-figure earner tell me this story. And I'm so caught up in it. I'm like, oh my God, what a story. And I said, well, what do people say when you tell them that? It's almost like she got embarrassed. She goes, I hesitate to even say this. She said, I don't think I've thought about that story for 10 years. And I was just like, oh, Shannon. I'm like, you are missing such an opportunity to connect with people. See, that's the thing that's relatable to people, right? And now listen, am I saying that there isn't a time and place to get people to think bigger? Not at all. But we need to learn how to meet them where they are. And when we're in a sales conversation with somebody, when we're sharing our business, just recognize these are the things that are going to actually create value. This is what people are looking for. And I'll share with you just as a last piece here. In our business, we actually teach our clients that there are these 3 separate levels of value creation. Starts with product. We need to move to problem. The highest level of value creation is mission, vision, and values. If you can get clear on your mission, your vision, your values, you will absolutely stand out and win. Harvard Business Review just published an article, and here's what they said in the article. The number one thing consumers want to know, the purpose of the companies that they buy from. And they went on to say that if, as a business, if you can clearly communicate your mission, vision, and values, not only will you stand out, but because you have created such value, the amount that your products cost will not even matter anymore. See, there's a lot of people that are saying people ain't spending money. They're not spending money. Our products are expensive. That's not true. Because here's what's interesting. The same person that said they didn't have a couple $100 to start a business, they went and stood in line at Apple for 3 hours to buy a $1,200 iPhone a week later. That same person that told you they didn't have a couple $100 to buy your product that could potentially transform their life, they went and stood in line at Louis Vuitton for an hour to buy a $3,000 purse. Look, I live near King of Prussia Mall. I go there right now, 8:30 at night. There will be a line of people out the door. People are spending money, but they are more discerning about where they spend it. And the biggest advantage that we have as an independent business owner in a business like this is we can customize our sales messages and the experiences that we give our customers and our team members in a way that most companies can't. So I would urge you to start thinking about how can you bring more of this into your conversations. And the one thing I'll leave you with, just think about how your story could become the single greatest tool that you have to connect with people. Stop looking at your experience as something that's been holding you back. It is your greatest asset. And once we understand that, we start showing up differently in our businesses. So, Angie, I kick it back to you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm looking at everybody's faces right now. So I can relate to Shannon. My first check was $16. And I remember looking at my husband going, oh boy, this is going to take a long time. And I didn't know you were in Philly. I almost wore my 49er shirt tonight.
Oh no, I probably would have just hung up on the Zoom if you would have done that.
Next week, here we go. So everybody, I know some people had to jump off because they had their team calls starting, but this is recorded. I will get it out to your upline leaders, make sure that that is shared with everybody. And Bob, we just want to, from the bottom of our heart, the chat's blowing up right now. Thank you so much. You guys go follow him on Instagram, Bob_Heilig, Heilig. Download his podcast, Your Virtual Upline. Do what I did. Start at the beginning. I like to go in order.
No, don't start at the beginning.
Why? No?
Because I just had somebody message me the other day. I'm on episode 1. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I
Where
don't
should
even
they start?
remember.
Where should they start?
I'm like, I don't even remember what I talked about on episode like 100, much
You
less
weren't
episode
married, you didn't
1.
have kids.
I would start with the latest episodes and work yourself backwards. Our philosophy and what we teach has changed so much.
Okay.
The latest 2 episodes I've done are the one that'll publish tomorrow is content creation. So what kind of content is going to win this year?
Mhm.
And then the last one was my predictions for 2023, which would be a good follow-up to this. But the other thing I'd say is let's connect on Instagram if we're not already, because starting the 1st of this year, I'm going live every single morning on Instagram at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. And I also publish the recordings to my my account as well. And so if we're not connected there, let's definitely stay connected there so I can continue to serve you and help you.
Okay, and they can, if they do want to participate in your Love, Serve, Grow courses, they can find information there.
Yeah, we're not open for enrollment. So I would just say, let's connect with it at Instagram and the podcast. And if, when we do open back up, you can hear about that there, but search either my name or you can just search your virtual upline on Instagram. You'll be able to find me there as well.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you said that.
Thanks for having me, Angie. Thanks for your time,
Thanks,
everybody.
Bob. Thanks, everybody. Have a
All right,
wonderful
take care.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Go Niners.